Hi, my name's Andy Peters from Blue FPV. Today we're not going diving, we're going to do an equipment review. Now, I think we all know what the most important bit of equipment we have is. It's the bit that keeps us alive, whatever you're breathing off. But behind that, there's lots of things. Computers, suits, etc. But one of those has got to be torches. They're really important. Not if you're doing reef diving and you're not really looking at anything which you need a torch for. But otherwise, if you need a torch, you need it to work, and you need it to work well. So this review is all about torches. And the torch that I'm looking at is this one here, the ZD710 from Orca. And this is the Mark II. Now, Orca have sent me this torch to review, not because I work for them, but because I really love their products. And I got talking to them. They asked me why I was asking so much about torches, and they said, would you like to try out one of our torches? So this is what we're going to be trying today. But just to let you know, Orca did send this to me. I like their stuff. This is my helmet, which you've seen on my other videos. That has OrcaTorches to it. This is my backup light. That is an OrcaTorch as well. And that's because they're reliable. And so this torch is zoomable. That's the kind of main element that I wanted to do, something which could be either wide beam or narrow beam on that. Something was pretty straightforward to do. I asked them to send me the one with the Goodman handle because I'm a tech diver and I need that for that. This Goodman handle is really good. I've adapted it as any tech diver would do. I've put a piece of neoprene on there which helps it. Also, the other thing which is very good about this particular torch is that if you want to travel, store it, etc., you can just flip that straight over. It becomes really thin as well. Or you can just bring it straight back into the Goodman's handle, and that'll help you tremendously in as much as that you can switch hands, put it on your left hand, put it in your right hand, and really versatile torch. So the next thing I needed to do was find a place to review the torch. Truck Lagoon sounds good. Let's go. So we're going to try out this torch on the Kensho Maru as Trip, short for Trippier, disappears into the wreck. This is the point where we're going to start to need to use a torch. Now, first thing you can see from this is that it's kind of dark down there. There's a little bit of ambient light still at this level, but it will get a lot darker when we go right deep down into the engines. And that's where Trip is going now. So this torch is just on the back of my right hand, really simple, which is important because you can see later on that if you need to use that hand for anything, it's unencumbered. This torch is really clear. That's the first thing to see, that the edges of it are really defined. Now, it has a wide range on the beam angle for this. The tightest one is 4 degrees, the widest one is 72 degrees. When you see it in 4 degrees, it's like a laser beam, which is just really amazing. It's one of my favourite bits about this torch. It has all the runtime you're ever going to need. On the highest mode, it's 2 hours 10 minutes, medium 3 hours 15 minutes, and on low mode, you've got 12 hours. Now, I'm a rebreather diver, but all of those times are the maximum that I will need inside a wreck, plus some. And this is not a big torch. It really does pack a punch for its weight. 362 grams, that's it. Strap it on the back of your hand, and this is the clarity you'll get from it. By the way, that is a knife grinder down there, I believe. Now, my channel is FPV, first person view. It's about taking you diving with me. And sometimes I want to illuminate everything so that we can both see it together. But this time I'm being a bit selfish. I'm just diving this one for me, which is why I haven't got the big video tray here. I've just got this simple light on the back of my hand. And as you can see, it's clearly enough. You don't need big torches in this viz when you've got something which is really as clear as this. So I mentioned the laser beam effect that this torch has, and that's it now. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You don't get torches which do this underwater, and that can be really useful. I'm just going to skip to another wreck for a second to show you where that comes in handy. So this is the Heian Maru, which we had done earlier on in the week, and I just wanted to point out to my mate Jay the words Tokyo. on the back of the ship. And just like a presentation, you can do that with this torch as the laser just tracks its way around the ship. And as I am playing with these two torches, I wanted to see the narrow beam between the two. So on the left is my Mares, on the right is the Orca. That's them both on their narrowest beam. And then I do the same on their widest beam. And you can see that the Orca is wider than the Mares here, but the Mares is probably brighter of the two. It is about twice the size, so you would expect it to have a bit more of a punch to it. So that's the ZD710 Mark II from Orca. Now, I've got somebody who helps me do my YouTube channels because I'm quite new to this. And I asked her, if you've got something which you want to say, which is like a negative review about something, what do you do about it? Is it the right thing to do? And what she said was really quite straightforward, which is just be honest. That's what people on YouTube want to hear. So what I'm going to do now is talk about another torch, which you've seen in that last video, which is this torch here, which is my Maros torch. It's a good torch, okay? Don't get me wrong, it's a very, very good torch. I'm a businessman. I've run a business for 26 years. It's also called Deep Blue. It's a financial services company. But the key point about it is that things will go wrong in business. The longer you're in it, the longer things will go wrong for. And it's how you deal with that afterwards, which is important. We started off this by saying that torches were important because you need them to work for you. And if you're inside a wreck, you don't want that thing to break down. Now, this torch, which is a really good torch, I had a problem with this. I bought it from a company called Dive In, who in the European market are a very cheap company to deal with. They have amazing diving products, really, really cheap, which is why I bought it from them. The problem is, it's how you deal with it if something goes wrong. And something has gone wrong with this torch. It should last for an awful lot longer than it does. It's got lighting system here, which goes green when you turn it on, and it'll go amber when it's down to half power and red when it's down to quarter power. Now that shouldn't be for about kind of 50 minutes or so. This thing started going amber at about 10 minutes. So I went straight back to Dive In and I said, hey, I've got a problem with this. Their website said 30-day no quibble guarantee. So I thought 30 days, it went wrong straight away. That's not a problem. They said no, because now I'd used the product, it was a warranty repair, not a replacement, which is kind of crazy because how on earth do you know that it doesn't work until you've tried it in the first place? But that was their answer on it. So I went to Mares and said, look, this is crazy. You know, I've got this torch. It's clearly gone wrong straight away. It's a problem. Can you just replace it? They said no. You've got to go back through Dive In, that's who you bought it for. Now, as a businessman, I know that they are technically completely correct. You have to go through the retailer, that's certainly what you have to do in the UK. So I went back through the retailer, so this torch had to go all the way back to Spain and then back to Italy. So it went back and 2 months later, I got the torch back. Now, if you see my videos, you'll see me using this torch a few times, but it's actually not my torch. It's Nelly's torch. Nelly is my mate who liked the torch so much, he bought one. And this is why we know there's definitely a problem with this torch, because his one works perfectly and my one goes into this amber and then red mode very quickly. So we sent it back and it came all the way back 2 months later and they said they'd fixed it. Now, I know that they felt that there was a problem because they actually clearly say on Dive In that if it goes back and there isn't a problem with it, then it is chargeable. So they sent it back, repaired, but they didn't say what they'd repaired with it. Now, a couple of months later, I was using it and the same thing happened again. It went amber within about 10 minutes and then went red. So you can't have that on a dive. You need that. You really don't want a torch which is going to break down for you mid-dive. So I got in touch with Dive In. They said, talk to Mares. So I went back to Mares and asked them what they did about it. They said it's got a 2-year warranty on it, it's still in warranty, send it back to Dive In and it'll come back the normal way. So I had to do the same thing. And again, I had to borrow Nelly's torch. Thank you, Nelly. So the next dives I did were all with Nelly's torch, and this was then traveling around Europe for a second time. It came back and no explanation of what's been repaired. So I actually don't know whether I've still got the same problem again. So I wrote to Maris and said, what did you do? You've had this torch now for a long time. What have you done with it? And the answer is, I haven't got any single reply from them whatsoever. So the next question is, where are you going to buy your next torch from? Somebody who doesn't talk to you, or something which is reliable? That's me being honest. So I'll be continuing to use Orca products. The ones I showed you at the beginning, the ones for my helmet, the spare backup torch, I bought all of those. This was before I even started the YouTube channel, and I will be continuing using Orca products, because when you want a torch that works, you want a torch that works. Hope you enjoyed this. Click the like, click the subscribe. See you again, and next time hopefully we'll be doing some diving.